The 10 cultural shocks I witnessed when I moved from India to the UK that you are going to find very useful and very funny. Hi my friends, my name is Meher, your career coach and mentor. Today I'm going to talk to you about the cultural shocks that I witnessed and so many of us Indian Asians witness when we move our home base from Asia to the UK. Now some of these are going to be very funny, but I'm going to be very candid as though I'm talking to a friend. So please take it with a pinch of salt, and I'm hoping that it's going to help you be a little bit more mentally prepared to move here. The first and foremost is that the people here are very, very polite. So when I moved here, I remember I used to send emails to people in my organization and receive emails from them as well. And at that time, I could see in their emails, there was always a please, there was always a thank you, there was always an I'm sorry. So they love saying please, thank you, and I'm sorry. Please, thank you, I'm sorry. Please, thank you, I'm sorry. So you have to get used to saying these words. They are just too polite. So for example, you go and order a coffee in a coffee shop, you will say something like, could I please have a skinny latte? And once they give it to you, you will say thank you. So please just becomes a very normal thing to say in almost every sentence. It's literally that normal. And it's good at the end of the day. It's honestly made me a more polite person, and I am like that with my Indian colleagues now as well. Please, thank you, sorry, I'm really sorry for this, sorry to bother you, could you please do this for me? So after a while it has definitely become second nature. And connected to that is that people here are very punctual. Everything runs on time. If the train says it will leave at 10:54, it will leave at 10:54. There's no minute up and down. If somebody says they want to meet you at 9 a.m. sharp, it usually means 8:59 a.m. You'd rather be there early, a few minutes early, than being late, even if it's just a few minutes late. So take all your meetings, all your classes, your schedule seriously, because when they mean a certain time, they're probably already waiting for you. And because things run on time, people here are very busy. They also plan their weeks and coming months way in advance. So if you want to meet a colleague or a friend, usually things are not done last minute. So they'll tell you something like, let's meet the week after, or let's meet the 15th of next month. It's planned so much in advance because people want their schedules sorted. They like to maintain a work-life balance, and because everything is done on time, once they finish work, they head home. So if they have dedicated a day to meet you, you better make sure you're there if you have confirmed. Again, it's rude to cancel last minute. People usually don't do that. But again, this comes down to everything running on time. If they have to queue for something, people love to queue over here. So they'll stand in long lines waiting for their turn, very politely, very well mannered, until their turn comes. Now that could be queuing at a restaurant, it could be queuing for tickets, it could be queuing at the Apple store. And the third, basically related to this, is that because everything runs on time, because they like to maintain work-life balance, things on Sundays are usually shut here. So after 6 p.m. on Sundays, all stores will shut. They don't care about working on Sundays. Even most of the restaurants, most of the shops are shut. If you go to some of the small towns in the UK, which will be not as big as London, most of the stores will be shut altogether. Restaurants, yes, they may be open, but I would still suggest check for timings and plan your day accordingly, especially if it's a Sunday. Normally the streets are very lonely and less crowded on a Sunday. Of course, if you live in London and if it's the tourist season, then there will be a lot of crowd. But usually Sundays, people just take siesta. They are home, they're doing their admin work, they're probably meeting some friends, but nobody's really going out to work or shop as such. So Sundays here are definitely God's days. The next two are sort of related to the homes over here. So firstly, I want you to be aware, this is going to be funny, but in the washrooms, there are no jets like we do have them back in Asia. You know, having a jet attached to your toilet is very normal. Here it is not. People use toilet paper here, and in fact a lot of the Indian students who end up moving to the UK find that quite a big adjustment. So they carry those portable jets with them, or other kind of devices to make their life easier. But yes, please be prepared that there will be no jets in the washrooms. And honestly, I've noticed that a lot of the washrooms here don't even have plug points. So like I want to straighten my hair, there is no plug point in the washroom. I have to do that outside in my bedroom. But you have to just remember that the toilet situation is a little bit different here. Many times you will find houses and apartments which have 3 bedrooms and 1 washroom, and that could be a little bit difficult if you're planning to share an apartment with some strangers, students, colleagues, etc. But be aware that there may be situations where you will be in a 2-bed with a 1 bath, or a 3-bed with a 1 bath, and that's the adjustment you'll have to make. The more number of toilets or washrooms you have in the apartment, the more your rent increases, because those kind of properties are just very very rare to find. Trust me, I'm saying this with experience. And the fifth cultural shock was that here, because the weather is mostly nice, there are no ACs or fans. There are no ceiling fans here on our ceilings, and central air conditioning is very rare unless you're living in a very modern new building. Heating is pretty sorted because every room will have a radiator that's adjustable, but no ceiling fans and no ACs. So in the summer months, I would recommend that you get a standing fan. That's what we have, like a standing fan right now. Leave the windows open. You'll also notice there are no ACs in most of the restaurants. So the summer can definitely get difficult because you will feel really hot because the sun is way more direct here than it is back in India because the air is pure, etc., etc. Yeah, so no jet, no ACs and no fans. All the best. The next shock is actually a good thing, which is the tap water is usually considered safe here. So you can use the water directly from the tap to drink, to make your tea, coffee, etc. But now we have this filter thing, a filter jug that we just load. It's called the Brita, that you can put water in from your tap and then it'll just purify it a little bit in terms of the lead content in the water. But otherwise, most restaurants, most places, tap water is considered safe. That's the one way you can save money. If you're going to a restaurant, they'll ask you whether you want still or sparkling water. Now, if you say still water, they'll get you a bottle and they'll charge you for it. So it's always better to say, no, I'll just have tap water, right? So once you say that, that means that you want the free version of the water and then you don't have to pay anything for water, because buying a bottle of water on the streets can be expensive. So definitely avoid that. Carry your own water bottle from home. Fill it with your own tap and you'll be sorted. If you're enjoying this video so far, I have so many more UK tips and tricks to share with you on visas, on jobs, on networking in my upcoming UK masterclass. It's going to be a small cohort only because I want the community to get to know each other. We're going to have events as well in the future, hopefully. My UK masterclass is on the 6th of September. If you are interested at all, click on the link below and I will see you there. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like and share this video with your friends and hit the notification bell if you find it useful. Another cultural shock for me was that I ended up walking here so much because back home everything is accessible by car, metro, etc. But here the public transport is so good that you'll want to walk a little bit to get to the bus stop, to get to the tube station, and then take the desired bus or train to get to your final destination. So that little bit of walking is always there. Ubers and cabs are really expensive here, so I always prefer to walk, especially in the nice summer months. You'll notice you'll walk a lot, so you will be doing 10 to 20,000 steps a day. If you're a student, if you're a working professional, taking the tube and all is way underground. There will be a lot of steps that you'll have to do. So that is definitely you should be prepared to do, is that the walking will be a lot, and honestly after a bit I think you'll start to enjoy it. And when you go back home to India or wherever in Asia that you live, you'll miss that part. We all end up walking so much is also because most areas here are very safe, of course, unless you're walking down a dingy road late at night on a Sunday when it's really lonely. Then you have to be aware, you have to make sure that you're keeping yourself safe. But otherwise, mostly things are very safe for girls, for young professionals, anybody who's coming here. You won't feel like you're walking down a street and everybody is staring at you. Nothing like that will happen. So it's very safe. You can wear whatever you like, walk as much as you like, as long as the areas that you know you're walking in are genuinely good neighborhoods. The next two are sort of related to food and drinks. So here you are publicly allowed to drink on the street, which was such a shocker for me. Literally people buy their beer, their alcohol and carry it around with them to the park, to on the streets. They're just freely roaming around with their drinks, and most alcohol is available in normal supermarkets. So back home in India, there are proper liquor stores that you have to go to buy alcohol. But here, no, you just go to any grocery store, you will be able to buy alcohol. Of course, they'll check your ID that you should be 18 plus. But other than that, you can buy alcohol, you can walk on the street freely and nobody will say anything to you. Yes, there are special designated areas where they may say no drinking or no smoking, that you have to be aware of. But yes, there's no fine for drinking on the streets, for carrying your plastic cups with alcohol in them. It's completely normal. Everybody loves to do it here. The British people love their drinks, and going to the pub is a very normal activity after work or on the weekends. So yeah, that's definitely something that I had to adopt to when I moved here. And the next is that the food you will usually find, the typical British food, is a little bit bland. And if you're moving from the Asian countries, you know how used to we are to our spices, to our masalas. So I would always suggest, like, this is something that my sisters and my cousins have done, is that they carry their own spices from back home. They carry a bottle of Tabasco in their bag. That's simply a thing that happens, and they just add it and sprinkle it to whatever they'd find a little bit bland and tasteless. But yes, because you are in the UK, there are so many cultures coming in together. The options and the variety of food that you can get is literally unlimited. You can get food from any country available to your doorstep on Uber Eats, on Deliveroo. You can go to these restaurants that are unique restaurants, Ethiopian food, Asian food, Sri Lankan food, whatever you like to eat, you will be able to get. But yes, if you're having the typical British food, that can be a little bit bland for our Indian taste buds. My husband Shashank and I have adapted our taste buds to the food that's available here. So now we find most Indian food to be very spicy. But yes, of course, that's taken us 6-7 years of living here, living abroad. So if you are somebody who's planning to move to the UK, make sure you're carrying your masalas and carrying your Tabasco and your spice bottles, etc. with you, because I don't want you to be disappointed. The last cultural shock was that everything to do with healthcare is absolutely free here. Of course, in India, that's also an option for many stratas of society. So if you're moving here, I would really suggest that you register with a GP and get the NHS app, because you will be able to get all your healthcare sorted. Of course, the appointments run a little bit in advance, so make sure you are keeping all your records up to date. And if you do have something that you need to show to the doctor, just make an appointment ASAP. It's all free for students, for professionals, so you don't have to worry about that. If you're coming to work in the UK, then many employers also give free healthcare insurance, which is private insurance. On top of the public NHS facilities, you also get private insurance. So most of the healthcare will always be sorted for you. You wouldn't have to worry about paying these large sums of money like it is in many other countries. The UK healthcare system is pretty good that way, with, of course, a few minor bumps along the journey. So that's it, my friends. These were the cultural shocks that I faced when I moved here, and I still face on a daily basis. But now I have adjusted my lifestyle, my whole way of living, because of these rules and the way people conduct themselves here. I have made another video on cultural shocks when you are actually working here in the UK that you can check out through the link above. If you want me to make more such videos, if you have personally faced any such cultural shocking events in the UK, please let me know in the comments below. I'll be back soon with another video. But until then, keep working hard towards your goals. I hope to see you soon. Bye.